People are 100% sleeping on Royce O'Neale coming into the season, and it's time for us to fix that. On day 11 of our Sun season previews, we're going to be talking about what this veteran 3-and-D wing brings to the table and what he'll be able to build on from last season now that he has a full season and a training camp under his belt. One thing is for sure, Royce O'Neale is not shy about getting up threes. In 29 appearances with the Suns, he made nearly 38% of his threes, shot 43% from the corners, and 38% on catch and shoots. He also shot 40% on wide open threes, which NBA.com refers to as the nearest defender being 6+ feet away. But if you asked Royce, all he needed was an inch of space to be wide open. Unfortunately, O'Neale could be a bit of a streaky shooter, and last season was a great example. In November, he drilled about 42% of his threes before dipping to 34% in December and then 30% in January. He bounced back to 39% in February and March, but dropped again to 34% in April and then 33% in the playoffs. With that being said, Royce making threes can be a real difference maker, especially with the unique way he can free himself up when he's greeted with a recovering defender trying to contest. O'Neale's most trusted weapon is his slow, deliberate, undeniably effective pump fake. Because he's a well-known spot-up shooter but not a primary threat, defenders often find themselves scrambling back to Royce after showing too much attention to the big three. That's when Royce goes to his diabolically funny pump fake, raising the ball up, watching as his defender sails by, and then sidestepping into an open look. He didn't shoot well on those in Brooklyn, but he was a lot more effective in Phoenix.
That's my little special talent. It gets me a lot of open threes and, drives, for my teammates.
That pump fake definitely helps set up his teammates as well. The sidestep three won't always be there after Royce's go-to move, but he knows how to put the ball on the ground and probe the defense for cutters, draw in the low man before hitting his big in the dunker spot, or even suck in the help defense before finding an open three-point shooter. The ball finds energy, and O'Neale does a great job of keeping that kinetic energy going as an extra pass guy. Sometimes he'll have a decent look, but he routinely turns down good shots for great ones, zipping the ball where it needs to go. That basketball IQ as a guy who can keep the ball moving to the next action makes him a natural screener. He can find open shooters in the short roll, and he can make plays from that short pocket to find baseline cutters too. O'Neale also slips screens pretty well, using all that extra space in the paint to draw in the help defense before spraying it back out to an open three-point shooter. He can also slip the screen and pop back out to the three-point line, at which point his gravity as a shooter opens things up for another extra pass to the open man. His coach and teammates are well aware of his value as a connective piece.
His willingness to shoot has been great, but he's also a guy that gets to a next action, keep the ball moving, has an energy, has an IQ that can be really good for a team.
He can really shoot the ball, put it on the floor too, and create and get in the paint, little touch shots and little kickouts.
He's just that good, or that great piece where he's running up, slipping out, moving the ball, and then knocking down open shots.
Being able to initiate and being connective, small ball, 4, 3, a guy you could throw the ball to and have him initiate the offense to get guys going. Can play in the pocket a little bit and make those passes as well.
I'd rather get an assist than a bucket, to be honest. So, got a lot of guys in his team that can score. So, scoring myself, but then, just being a playmaker, whenever I'm needed.
However, we should note that O'Neale's value on the offensive end doesn't usually extend inside the three-point line. He can make smart passes in the short roll, but O'Neale really doesn't have much leaping ability or elite touch around the rim. He only shot 59% at the rim last season, and although that number jumped to 66% in his Suns stint, O'Neale is borderline allergic to attacking the basket. According to Cleaning the Glass, O'Neale ranked in the 7th percentile among wings in his frequency of shots at the rim, and he only took 77 shots at the rim total. For reference, he attempted 422 threes last year by comparison. So yes, most of Royce's value as a scorer comes as a three-point shooter, and once he gets inside that three-point line, it's more of a passer. But he does still live up to that 3-and-D name as well. O'Neale isn't exactly a free safety out there reading passing routes, but he's got a good feel for where the ball will go next, and when he's in position to make a play on it, he's still capable of jumping those passing lanes. O'Neale ranked in the 64th percentile in passing lane defense last year, according to the B-Ball Index, so don't expect a ton of interceptions like these, but he's clearly one of the Suns' best defensive communicators, he understands rotations, and he's engaged on that end of the floor, which this team will need more of this season. Although he's only listed as 6'6", O'Neale has no problem guarding up a position or even two. He's looked lighter in preseason so far, but Royce has the sheer strength to stand his ground against wings trying to drive on him. and he can even stonewall bigs trying to impose their will against an undersized 4 on the block. The Suns have more small ball options than they did last year, but Royce can even hold his own every now and then against bigs in the post, using his strength to stay rooted to the spot before swiping at the ball. In Phoenix and Brooklyn, Royce showed active, quick hands in stripping bigger players, making drives to the rim difficult, and even blocking bigs that he really had no business blocking. This right here, this is how opponents felt trying to score on his stonewall defense. And it is something that matters to Royce O'Neale.
I take a lot of pride in it. I mean, just taking the challenge every night. Guarding 1 through 5, whoever I got to, it doesn't matter to me. I'm gonna just do me.
With Royce being 31 years old now on a new 4-year contract and everyone being so excited about rookie Ryan Dunn, it'd be easy for O'Neale to kind of fly under the radar. But he's an understated, connective piece on both ends of the floor, and his coaches and teammates certainly understand his value.
When I talk about Royce, I just say winning plays. I can't tell you whether or not they'll be on the offensive side of the ball or defensive side of the ball every night. I just know when you stack it up, he's going to have a lot of winning plays.
It's harder to narrow it down to one thing because, he just does a little bit of everything while he's out there.
I think it does start with a defensive mentality, his willingness to guard and take the challenge, and not just on his own guy, but team-wise, and communicate and cover.
Little things, all the intangibles. Be the dirty work player. Knock down open shots. Try to make my teammates better any way I can.
Underrated passer, can shoot the basketball. Just a basketball player, to be honest. Positionless basketball player.
I would hesitate to call him a role player because I think I'm sure he'd be fine with that, and he probably is that. But that sometimes belittles all the things that someone does.
He just plays extremely hard.
Thanks for watching today's Suns season preview. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to PHNX Sports on YouTube, listen to the PHNX Suns podcast every day at 3 p.m. Go read my written season previews over at gophnx.com, and check back tomorrow right here for our next season preview on Grayson Allen.